Welcome to At Home with Vicki Bensinger. I'm Vicki, and today I'm going to show you how to make a wonderful ice cream dessert. I'm making this dessert today especially for my husband, who just left to go do a biking event. He'll be biking Pikes Peak up in Colorado. So when he returns, I'll have this wonderful dessert waiting for him. So watch me how I make it. It's very simple, and I know your family will enjoy it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a crust. I'm going to make an Oreo crust for my ice cream pie by taking 20 Oreos. I'm going to put them in a food processor. This is a mini food processor. I've ground up my Oreos, and now I'm going to take a half a stick of unsalted butter, and I'm just going to pour it right in here. Make sure we get all that. And then I'm going to blend this all together and then put it into my springform pan. Let's just check that. Okay, that looks great. I'm going to push this aside. And I've prepared a springform pan with some parchment paper around it. And the reason I put the parchment around it is so when I remove the sides of the pan, my ice cream won't be sticking to the pan. It will stick to this, but I can easily pull it away once it's frozen. I simply put the parchment paper under here. I folded it in the center, put this around it, and then folded the parchment back. It really wasn't hard at all. So I'm going to go ahead and dump out my Oreos and butter mixture. And then all I'm going to do is go ahead and press this in here. I'm going to start by using my spoon just to get it spread out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just use my fingers, so make sure your hands are clean. You can even have the kids do this if you want. And after I do this and get it nice and pressed down, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the freezer for about an hour until it gets nice and chilled. Okay, so there we have it, if you can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the freezer for about an hour. Okay, so my springform pan with the Oreo butter mixture that's been pressed into the pan has been in the freezer for just a little more than an hour. So now what I need to do is take my ice cream and blend it with Heath Bar, what I've got. So I took 4 Heath bars, put them in a plastic bag, and just with the back of a spoon I tapped on it and broke it up. I took 2 containers of ice cream. I used coffee. You could use vanilla. You can use whatever you want. If you don't want to bother with mixing in, you can always go ahead and buy cookies and cream ice cream, or you can buy vanilla ice cream, put in Oreos, crunched up Oreos, whatever you prefer. So I have my two containers of coffee ice cream that I have put in a large glass bowl. And actually I've had this sitting out for quite a while, and you can see that it's gotten rather soft. And that's what I want, because I've got my 4 packages of Heath Bar that have been crushed up. You can also buy one of the bags of already crumbled up Heath Bar, but I'm out here in Colorado and for some reason they didn't have it. So I just bought my own Heath Bar and crumbled it up and put it in, and I'm going to go ahead and blend this all together. And like I said, you can go ahead and put whatever you like. Maybe you want to put M&Ms in it, I don't know. So I'm going to, maybe gummy bears. No, I don't know that that would be good, but your kids would probably like it. So I've gone ahead and I've stirred this up, and you can see it's very simple to stir once you've let it sit out. And now I'm just going to take it. Just going to go ahead and pour it in this container. It's going to fill this up very nicely. Let me go ahead and spread this around. This is all spread out. I'm going to set it back into the freezer. You know, the best would be overnight. And since my husband actually won't be back until tomorrow, that might work out just perfect. But I'm going to put this in the freezer. I'm going to go ahead and cover it up with some plastic wrap, just to keep the top nice and clean, nothing gets into it. And I'm going to go ahead and set this in the freezer now for, I would say, you know, a minimum of 2 hours, but my ice cream got soft, so you'll just have to check it and see. You want it to be nice and firm before you put the sauce on top. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the freezer, and then when I come back, we'll work on the sauce. Hi, I'm back. I just checked the ice cream pie, and it feels very firm. It's been about 2.5 hours, and I'm going to go ahead now and start to make the fudge sauce. And once we make the fudge sauce, we need to let that cool a little bit before pouring it on top of the ice cream pie. Otherwise, of course, it will all melt. So let's come on over to the stove, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is turn on my stove, and I have a half a stick of unsalted butter in my pot, and I need to melt that along with a 6-ounce package of semi-sweet chocolate chips. So we're going to melt that, and then once we get that all melted, then we're going to go ahead and add in our other ingredients. Okay, so I've gone ahead and melted the butter and chocolate on low heat. You want to make sure you don't cook it on a high heat, otherwise you could burn and separate the chocolate. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a 5-ounce container of evaporated milk to this, along with 1 cup of powdered sugar, or confectioner's sugar, some of you may know it as. And I'm going to continue to cook this and stir it until everything is incorporated and it then becomes nice and thick. Okay, looks like my mixture, my fudge has thickened. Now you can see, can you see that? It's got nice and thick. You could just put a line right through there. That's really good. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. You want to make sure you turn the heat off. I don't know if you can see that. When you add the vanilla, it starts to bubble a little bit. And I'm just going to stir that in. And now I'm going to set it aside to let it cool. Probably maybe 15-20 minutes. And then once I feel like it's cool enough, I'll go ahead and pour it on our ice cream pie. So let's let that cool, and I'll be right back. Okay, so my fudge is ready. I've tested it, and it's nice and cool and tasty. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over. I pulled my ice cream pie out of the freezer. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pour all of this over the top, just like that. And then I'm going to put it in the freezer again for the last time to let it solidify. I think maybe I might lift up these edges just a little bit because I made my ice cream pretty full. There we go. So there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the freezer and let it get nice and firm. And later on this evening, I'll pull it out and I'll take a slice. So I'll meet you back here in a little while and we'll do the unveiling. Well, here we are, the moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and unveil our creation. I'm going to take off the springform pan, the edge. That up. And try and unfold. And here is our beautiful mud pie. So let's go ahead and slice into it, and I'll show you what this is going to look like. I think I'll dip it in a little bit of warm water. I'll take a slice. Oh yeah. I just picked up some caramel sauce and I'm just going to drizzle it right over the top. And there you have it. Thank you so much for stopping by At Home with Vicki Bensinger. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this ice cream casserole. I'm so excited tomorrow for my husband to come home and try it. I just know he's going to love it, and I know once you make it, your family will love it as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my blog, VickiBensinger.com. And until next time, happy cooking.